And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Eibner, and welcome to Smart Office Network TV, the ultimate real estate sales meeting. And Smart Office Network TV is a live show we do every Friday at 11:30 here. And you can also be involved with this using the live chat that's on the screen. That's just to the right there. Or any questions you may have, please text them into 720-217-5853, and I can take any text questions right here. This is our weekly news, tips, and ongoing communications for all members that are Metro Brokers and part of the Smart Real Estate Office Network. Remember, the Smart Real Estate Office Network stands for Synergy, Marketing, Administration, Real Estate, and Technology. Sponsors today we'll be going over in one moment, and our guest that we're having on today is Ken Holbert, and Ken is with Safe Objectives, Inc., and he's going to be talking about one of the new EPA items that is coming online here this April, RRP it's called. So don't forget, IPTV Boys Media, we help you be found on the internet. We're the proud sponsors of Broker IPTV, Metro Brokers TV, the Liquor Channel TV, Preview Dental TV, and a number of other Internet Protocol TV-based sites. And also Meridian Title and Escrow, Supreme Service, and Valuable Dividends. And of course, Metro Brokers, still the one, the only, 33 years later, true 100% commission franchise. We operate as a not-for-profit marketing co-op so that all of our broker members within can operate as broker for-profit individuals. Don't forget our 6 convenient working locations: Highlands Ranch at Broadway and C470, the Inverness Business Park, Park Meadows, the Denver Northwest Highlands office over there in Lodi, Platt Park on Old Pearl Street, and the Stapleton Town Center office location. And our theme this year in 2010 has been and will continue to be success. That's correct. It's your own damn fault. Success is your own damn fault. And that's what we're really focusing this year, is communicating to all of our members the real value within the Metro Brokers organization, and also the value in effect tools and communications that we get through the Smart Office Network. We have some new system-wide brokers. Joe Penta from Remax, he's in the Platt Park office. Connie Case is also from Remax. She's over in the Inverness location. And Danny Manzares, he's in the Platt Park office location. Welcome to the new system, guys. Appreciate you having you all on board. Real quickly, stats here are year-to-date 2009 and year-to-date 2010 comparisons. Just so everyone's up, we are on track. Basically, sales volume this morning closed residential single-family homes, 7,597. That's up 769 units as compared to last year at this time, with only 6,828. Days on market for single-family homes is down 13 days. Last year, right now, we were at 103 days on the market. This year, 90 days on the market as of this morning. So that's a pretty big increase, 2 weeks on the market, less time. That's a huge increase. It takes a lot of sales to actually move that number even 1 day down on these aggregates. And probably most importantly, average sold price. Believe it or not, average sold price as of this morning, $299,977. That's up $37,669 from last year right now, where the average sold price was $262,308. Also, good news in the condo front. Sales volume is up from last year by 247 units, coming in at 1,819 units, up from the 1,572 units. Also, days on market for condos is down 7 days. Average days on market, condos, townhomes, is 100 days as compared to 107. And of course, the average sold price as of this morning, $178,267. That's up $16,056 from last year's high of 162,211. So great information out there as far as our sales stats. The market continues to heat up here in the overall Denver market area. Just, I believe, people are starting to get off the bandwagon on two things. Number one, rates right now, which you can see rates right at this, as of this morning, are up just slightly from 5% to 5.04 on 30-year fixed. And their par on the 15-year coming in 4.35, and just slightly down on the 5/1 ARM coming in at 3.92%. I think what's probably driving more people to the market right now to consummate their purchases, other than the tax credit, is the fact that people have rate fear. They're thinking that rates are definitely going to be going up, and based on what we're seeing with on the news, the mortgage-backed security things ending on April 1st, that could be the joke on a lot of people if these rates change. So still great news. We can see the market still is continuing to heat up. We're still seeing multiple offers on many properties out there, especially properties that are under 200,000, and especially if they are not short sales and not bank REOs and actually real properties. If there's priced right, there's usually going to be multiple offers in the under 200,000 market. So systems, service systems spotlight. Once again, we want to talk about the success we've been having with our weekly broker collaboration meetings. Don't forget, over at Park Meadows, they meet Wednesday at 10 in the morning. Over at the Denver Northwest office, they're meeting Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. And we alternate between Inverness, Platt Park, and Highlands Ranch on the first Tuesday, second Tuesday, and third Tuesday. We start at 10 a.m. and promptly at 11:30. And that alternates from Inverness on the first Tuesday, Platt Park on the second Tuesday, Highlands Ranch on the third Tuesday, and we take the fourth Tuesday off. Stapleton has impromptu meetings, and they regularly meet monthly over at the Stapleton location. Also want to bring everyone up to speed again on our accountability program. Accountability Smart and Simple is the name of our program. We'll be working with world-renowned coach Chuck Blakeman. He's the author of Making Money is Killing Your Business. He's an extraordinary coach. He's just came out with this book here, which everyone should pick up. I'm almost done reading it right now, which is Making Money is Killing Your Business. He sponsors and supports a 12-week program for numerous business people. Works out of the Cool River restaurant, but we're going to be starting this on April 7th this year. April 7th. We'll be meeting over at the Meridian Golf Club for a free program overview and small seminar. So that's April 7th, the Meridian Golf Club. We will be sending out an email to cover this program. Also, some other news. Meridian Title has struck a deal with a company called Your Short Sale Solution. This company was recommended to us and highly endorsed by John Goodman from Oliver Frescona and Goodman. They, in fact, have a 95% short sale success rate. They're a great vendor. They've also agreed to work with us over at Meridian Title. Their normal fees are a $250 with file upfront fee and $450 due at closing if it's under $200,000. And properties over $200,000 would be $350 upfront and 0.5% at closing on those particular properties. If you're using Meridian Title and working with transaction management, we just have a flat $1,000 short sale closing fee that's filed with the insurance commission, and basically we are paying Short Sale Solutions as a vendor from that money collected at the closing table. No monies are needed to be paid up front, and all the processing will be done by Meridian Title, Short Sale Solutions, and our transaction managers. Sheila Smith is the main owner and founder over at Short Sale Solutions. Her number is 303-940-3657 or sheila.smith@yourshortsalesolution.com. We're happy to be working with Sheila. I've met her team, great group of individuals over there. And the thing I like about Sheila is they're formerly all bank. They have a lot of bank experience plus escrow experience, and they continue to actually ramp up their staff to take in what we see as an increasing amount of short sales that are coming through the pipeline. And one of our brokers, Michael Gerard, did in fact bring up, well, anybody can close 95% of their deals if it takes them 10 months. I will tell you that no one knows the lenders better than Sheila. and they are doing a lot of transactions as far as approvals, in some cases now under 30 days. And it definitely depends on the lender, depends if there's firsts and seconds, so there are circumstances, but she says 10 months now is definitely not the rule. They're doing most of their business in under 90 days. So look forward from that. If you got any questions, you can also talk to Chris over at Meridian Title. He can be reached at 303-268-6004. Now we're going to move on to our special guest today, Ken Holbert. And Ken Holbert is with Safe Objectives, Inc., and they're basically a training company. And Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate you driving up today from Colorado Springs with the weather.
It was no problem whatsoever.
So tell me a little bit about your company. How long have you guys been in business? What do you specialize in?
I've been in business since around July. We specialize in training renovation, repair, and painting, which is the new rule coming out. We train renovator initial English courses. It's how to work safely around lead-based paint. We are breaking out and trying to get into abatement and other environmental friendly.
So why don't you tell me about this, what they're calling the RRP, which is the Renovation, Repair, and Painting Rule that's been put out by the EPA.
Well, what the rule entails is that it covers all pre-1978 houses. That's any house that was started on or before December 31st, 1977, and child-occupied facilities, meaning that any child, the same child visiting the same property 2 times a week for at least 3 hours, for at least 60 hours a year, is considered child occupied. That'll be covered by the rule as well. It's joint by HUD and EPA, depending on the type of property, depending on the rules. It covers if you're disturbing more than 6 square feet inside a residential room and 20 square feet on the exterior of the property.
So 6 square feet, how big is that? Like
2 foot by 3 foot.
Yeah, it's not very big.
No, and that's per room, and each room is its own area. It's not, well, 6 feet or 3 feet in one room, 2 feet in another. It's per room.
Per room,
and then the 20 feet is the entire building.
Okay. So tell me about this bill. When was it signed in? I guess this would have been signed in by Bush back in that, as far as the EPA regulation.
It was brought in by Bush, or not Bush, but Congress. They signed it back in 2008. Came into effect. They said in 2009 companies can start applying to become firms, which is October 22nd. That all covered renovations will be done by certified firms and certified renovators as of April 22nd, 2010. And that is, if it doesn't exclude, if it's a painted surface that contains lead or assumed to contain lead, you must use lead safe work practices.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. How many of the contractors out there even know about this rule becoming effective here? I'd
say about 10 to 20% currently. Daily, more and more are getting to know because more and more classes are being booked. But up until now, about 10 to 20%. Word of mouth is starting to spread, but until then, it's not. A lot of companies don't even know about it.
Right. So essentially, we've got about 30 days here before it comes into effect.
Yes.
And how many realtors do you think out there are even aware of this, and appraisers?
Less than 10%.
Yeah.
I know the National Realtor site has released 6 or 7 videos on their main site for realtors to go in and do an inspection. Oh, let me find out a little bit about it. But that's all they've really spread about the law. The rest of it's been newspapers or magazines specifically to contractors that have been spreading the word.
Right. So what kind of impact do you think this is going to have on the real estate community? I mean, what?
I think it's going to have a lot of impact due to the fact that right now when you sell your house or buy a house, you have to fill out the, do you know lead disclosure rule?
Yeah, the lead disclosure. Yep.
Well, with the new rule, if contractors go into your property and they're disturbing more than 6 square feet or 20 square feet on the exterior, they have to assume there's lead or know there's no lead present.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have to test for it themselves or have a third party come out and test, depending on what type of test they're doing.
Right.
And so a lot of companies, or a lot of realtors are saying, come and do this, buy this property, it's a good deal. But with the new rule coming out after the house is purchased, the homeowner is now going to be stuck with purchasing somebody's fees that are going to be higher than what they normally would because of the assumption there's lead-based paint without the fact of knowing if there is or not.
Right.
Or they're going to have to pay for a test to be done.
Yeah, so are all contractors going to, if they are they going to have to ask if how old the house is? Are they going to be required to do research on the house themselves?
Yes, it is. There was a question asked the EPA about the property saying, can I accept the homeowner's word of when the house was built? And EPA said, no, it's still your responsibility as a firm and renovator to inspect to find out when the house was actually built.
Wow.
Instead of just taking for granted, oh yeah, this is when the house actually knowing.
So you call a contractor, you want to have maybe some new can lights put in, maybe the kitchen's tore down, some windows, etc. The way it's going to work right now is these contractors, let's say you're living in a house that was built in 1946. Contractor's going to come out and they're going to ask if they've had a lead-based paint test done.
Yes, sir.
And if they haven't, they're going to make the seller or make the owner get a test done?
No, they won't make them.
Uh-huh.
They will inform them that, if you do not get one done, I must automatically assume that the components contain lead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's on you, the homeowner, to decide if you want it or not, because just if a renovator does it or that inspector does it, goes with the property. When you sell it, you must disclose that you've had the test done. Or I'm going to have to assume that there's lead and do the work in my lead safe work practices.
Wow. So normal exterior painting in a house like that's probably $2,000. What would it cost to paint a house like that if they just assume there's lead there? What are we going to?
From what we've heard, with my last class I had, one of the renovators said, I'm going to have to bill 1.4 times my normal rate, just because of insurance, the work I'm doing, and the amount of cleaning I have to do after the fact.
So for every 1,000, another $400?
Yeah. And sometimes more than that, depending on the job. Mm-hmm. Windows is going to be a lot more because they have more extensive work, but it's all a matter of what type of job's being done.
As far as like window replacement?
Window replacement, we've heard it could be an additional $1,000 for 1,000. And even raising it straight, a $1,000 job be $2,000.
Wow.
But it's more of them finding out how they can work with the rule and finding out from insurance companies, because even insurance companies haven't been truly informed about the rule, for them to know, okay, this is what your deductible is going to be, this is how much your fee is going to be. So it's finding out all the accumulating factors and then billing for it.
How about, what does it cost to, I've been in the business 25 plus years, I had a house, lead-based paint test run in a house. I mean, what do they cost? How long do they take?
Depending on the type of test there's 3 types of tests currently out there now. There's the EPA approved test kit, which is created by Hypervet Systems Inc. That one can test any substance except for drywall or plaster. There is the XRF machine, which does test takes about 20 seconds to a minute to respond how much lead is in that particular component. And then there's the paint chip sampling, which we've heard it takes about 2 days to test. The prices range anywhere from $300 up, depending on how many parts are being tested, what components are being tested.
Wow, so lead-based paint test at a minimum, we're talking the Walmart price is going to be $250. And that's going to depend on the equipment they bring out, so they can do on-site testing?
It depends on the type of what they bring out, as who you're requiring to do the job.
Right.
If you're somebody who has an XRF machine, he brings a gun, puts it up to the wall, gives an automatic reading.
Really?
If it's somebody has to go in and has to cut into the intrusive test, has to actually cut a chip away from whatever components he's dealing with,
right,
and send it off to a testing facility, then you're waiting for the time for it to go to the facility and the report to come back.
Well, I think in an earlier conversation we were talking about the liability with some realtors who really are going to, they're going to be selling people homes that were built before '78, and then I think it's probably going to depend on how much. If a consumer found out that it was going to cost another $3,000 or $4,000 to do work, they might have issue and take that up with their realtor out there.
That they could, and then it's more of what was promised during the, how the transaction was given.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if no lead-based paint test was ever run.
And if they were told by the realtor or the broker that, oh, it doesn't matter, it's, you just put in A, it doesn't really matter. They don't know, you don't know, it's all, where that's what it was beforehand. Is
no carnal knowledge, we don't know.
You're clear, you don't have to worry about it. Well, here, if you don't know, it could affect your purchasing or your repair after the fact.
So really, you're talking about like effective April 22nd, you've got all renovation firms have to be certified. So remodelers, window contractors, plumbers, electricians, geez. Who else would be covered by that?
Floor,
Flooring?
because what they consider paint is any painted surface that contains equal to or more than 1 milligram per square centimeter or 0.5% by weight. And that's varnishes, stains, paint that you see normal.
So varnishes,
glazing.
Former varnish and stain components contain lead too?
Yes.
That's probably why they work so good.
And that's where you're dealing with, because it was pretty much created or added to it for color and durability.
Uh-huh.
And so you're dealing with plumbers, electricians. Some roofing companies will deal with it because of the trim alongside. Carpeting, it covers everybody pretty much in the field. It's not just, oh, it's only going to affect the painter, it's only going to affect the general contractor. It's affecting everybody who disturbs more than 6 square feet of space. And that's only in EPA homes. If they're dealing with a HUD property, it's 2 square feet.
I see.
And they add the additional 10% surface component.
Yeah, so really, you'd really have to be a company, if you don't want to become certified, you're going to work on houses that were all built after 1978.
Yep.
Which is a lot, there are a lot of neighborhoods where that's true. In the Denver anyways, a lot of the suburbs were all really built here in the 80s and above.
What I found from most of the people we're talking with is that it's generally 50% to 75% of their businesses that they deal with, because the new homes being built are slowing down. So
Right.
they're starting to go into the reconstruction or remodeling aspect.
Sure, you bet.
So a lot of their businesses are starting to be where they have to become and work on it from there. But then the fee that they're going to be charging is going to be higher than the one that doesn't contain lead.
Absolutely. What does it cost and how long does it take for a company like that to get certified, class-wise and cost-wise?
The company aspect costs $300 and they submit directly to EPA. There's no training, there's no nothing. It's just a form saying, I'm going to use lead safe work practices. I'm going to make sure all my employees use lead safe work practices. I will hire a renovator to do the job, or I will have a renovator assigned to the job. The renovator generally anywhere from $200 to $300 is the class, depending on where they're going. It's going to be 8-hour class. They have to do 11 hands-on activities. It's 6 hours of instruction, 2 hours of hands-on, and then a test at the end of it. And they have to pass the test with at least 72%.
So this would probably be a good class for people that are fix and flip people,
Yes.
renovators,
So they
maybe even property managers.
Yes, if you are a property manager and you do the work yourself, or you're fix or flip and you do the work yourself, you are covered by the rule.
So let's go over that little rule coverage thing again. I own a house. I sold it to you, okay? And it was built in 1933. And you're going to go paint the whole outside. Tell me what has to be done. What if you're going to paint it and sell the house? You bought it from me.
If you're going to paint it and sell it, this is where EPA hasn't come out with a set define it. If you're selling it, no rental, no tenants or anything, it's not going to be a rental. It's straight you selling it. They haven't come out if it's covered or not. That one's still, we have it under EPA to find out. Now, if you're buying it to have tenants in it,
Right.
it's covered by the rule. Then you have to set up containment, if you're doing windows, containment both inside the property and outside the property.
Wow.
Containment consists of laying plastic down 6 feet around the area being disturbed, putting up a door to contain the area, sealing off your HVAC vents or your air vents, sealing off doors, windows, other than your main entry door.
Right.
The 6 feet of plastic has to extend from on the floor, 6 feet to the left, 6 feet to the right, 6 feet back, and in some cases to the front. On the outside, it's 10 feet of plastic from the left, right, and back, or in some cases to the front if you're doing the side. You've got to do cleaning at the end of the job.
Yeah, where does all this plastic go when you're done then?
In the trash. And depending on the type
So
where you're from,
we can just put it in a dump?
as
In
long
the
as,
landfills?
residentially wise, it can go into the residential waste. It just can't be left on site. It must be taken to an actual trash. It must be taken off site to be able to trashed. If it's a commercial property, non-residential, child occupied, then you have T-clipping for Colorado, and also weight, which is if it's over 220 pounds per job site per month, you must take it as hazardous waste.
Wow. How about the little zoot suits? Do these guys, do you have to wear the little white suits and masks and stuff as a reno?
It is suggested that they wear coveralls, respirators, safety glasses, hats. Gloves are not required, but are highly suggested, and booties.
Yeah, these are the people
These are the
doing
minimum,
the work, right?
minimum suggestions that your employees should be wearing. The ones that are doing the work in the site.
So the contractors can either send the $300 fee or tax to the EPA, and they're just saying, well, we'll use good people, qualified people to do the work, or they can become qualified themselves. No, they can't become.
You put the two together. The company must send to EPA.
Mm-hmm.
The supervisor must be a renovator.
Okay.
It's the two separate entities. The individual goes to a class. The company sends to EPA. There's the firm and renovator. You must have both assigned to the job.
I see. Okay. Okay. Wow. I was going to talk about owners, owner occupants. I mean, I think this is going to be a big thing as far as, boy, I mean, if you're looking at houses and you got one house that's really built in the 70s and across the street you got homes built in the 80s or 90s, or even in an area, I think there's going to be some, I mean, how are people going to look at this, even appraisers and stuff?
Appraisers, I believe it's going to be, have you had a test done?
Uh-huh.
If not, know that these are going to be the extra fees you're going to have to pay because you haven't had a test done.
Right.
Now, if the property does not contain lead-based paint, whether it's pre-1978 or after 1978, it's not covered by the rule.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But if you don't know, you must assume on pre-1978 dwellings that it meet the either child occupied or target house rule, then you must use lead safe work practices doing the work.
Yeah, so I guess if you're selling houses prior to 78, probably going to be a good idea to recommend the test or have a pretty strong disclosure signed by the buyer that, hey, we know it was built before 78, we'll take on all the risks. And because I don't know what would be some of the more expensive lead-based renovation issues, you know, where you'd have to extract it from there.
You're not extracting the lead-based paint as a renovator. That's abatement. If you go into remove or encapsulate or enclose lead-based paint, renovation is just you're dealing with lead-based paint to do your normal job.
Right.
You know, you're going in. I've got to do this wall here. I'm wet sanding it, wet scraping it, getting it prepped so that I can do work. But the dust I'm generating, I'm doing in a lead-safe manner, so it doesn't contaminate the house.
Yeah, I guess lead, the way it's sitting on the wood or the wall or whatever right now, is totally safe. As long as you don't eat it. Right?
It's more of...
It's innate. It's just sitting there.
It doesn't, because as paint dries, it becomes a powder pretty much, and then it can come into the air. You know, if you're not doing anything with it and the paint's there, no one's touching it, it's non-hazardous.
Right.
Because you're not encompassing it. But if you go in and do stuff to it, disturb it in any way, that's where it becomes the hazard to the family, because you're putting it into air, you're causing friction to become debris and dust. Yes. Dust travels easily.
A lot like asbestos.
Yeah.
Almost the same guidelines, really.
Asbestos has a little bit more on what you have to do the work around it. Right. It's the same precautions.
Right. Well, we've got your slide that you sent me up here, which is how widespread is lead-based paint. So you've got before 1940, almost an 86% chance, huh?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And then 1940, 1959, 66% of the homes. This slide was made by HUD back in October 2008. Okay. What it discusses is that 42 million homes within the United States do contain one form of lead-based paint or another.
Wow. Yeah, so 1960 through 1978, 25%.
And then all homes nationwide are about 35%.
Huh, okay. Well, very interesting data. I think this, you know, once again, this just throws another loop in and complicates the business of real estate. And I think for some people that are renovators or flip people, it's going to have a little bit of impact on them too. It's just going to add more cost to the process and more liability to everyone involved. Well, Ken, I appreciate you being on the show today. Very important information. I've talked to a couple contractors that I think one of them actually went to your school for training, and that's what brought this issue up. And April 22nd isn't that far away. No,
and especially since companies have, EPA has 90 days to approve a firm.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I see. So you turn in your app, and you may not even be approved for 30 to 90 days. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Ken. Want to thank all of our Smart Office TV sponsors, Metro Brokers, IPTV Boys Media, and Meridian Title and Escrow. And once again, look forward to seeing everyone next Friday at 11:30. We'll be having Chuck Bateman on here talking about the Smart Accountability Program. Until then, much success to everyone. See you next week.